This is Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome to another show, man. NBA Talk with Jay. We got our guy Michael Fiddle on the show, man. If y'all don't know, his nickname is Fiddle the Middle, man. He likes to do those middle plays. My guy from Action Network, man. We're doing podcasts last year. I say I got to get my guy on the show here. Really great NBA capper, man. Really great guy, is knowledgeable about the market and things that are going on. Really sharp mind. Y'all know I wouldn't bring anybody on the show that wouldn't know what they're talking about. But Fiddle, what's up with you, my brother? Thanks for coming on the show. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's the first time I've ever looked at a computer screen in sunglasses, but I had to fit in with the show. You know, we showed up pre-pod and I was like, Jay, you need me to wear some shades because I know what goes down in here. So I can't see you right now, but I'm ready to talk hoops. Let's do it.
Yeah, bro, you got to put on. Well, mine's is a little foggy as well, man. But yeah, it's definitely a little tough. But I think I've gotten used to it after a while, man. It's just kind of, it goes with the flow. You feel me? But I really do appreciate you coming on, man. I like the way you look at games. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like we're gonna make some money this season for sure, man. So and you do this for a living as well, right? This is your only job?
Yeah, I became a professional gambler in like the last 2 years. I was for the last like 10 plus a high level amateur, but now it's kind of the sole version of income. And I think people think when they hear professional gambler, like, oh, dude makes ton of money. Like I gamble for a living and I do well and I've done well, but I'm 32 and I live by myself in a 1-bedroom with a dog. So yeah, you can make a living professionally gambling. It's not like, crazy or it's neither of the two. It could be a totally medium thing.
Facts. No, that's a fact there. I'm right there with you on that. Yeah, I'm 32 as well, man. 32 as well. Been betting for, like you said, an amateur for like 12 years, but I quit my job 5 years ago, man. I used to work at a convention center and I walked out on the boys. All right, y'all want to keep passing me up? I had just started my YouTube channel. I said, you know what? I'm out. I'm going all in on myself. That's the biggest bet that I ever made, and I cashed that motherfucker as well, man.
There you go. Love to see it.
We have 4 games today, man. So let's keep it going here. Yesterday wasn't too bad of a day, man. So let's keep it going today. I never recapped yesterday. It's all about today. We got 4 games. Yesterday is history. We're talking about the present. We're talking about the future, and we're trying to get this cash and smack these bookies up as well, man. Let's go over here to the streets of Washington D.C. in this one. Wizards getting 14 points at the house versus the Celtics. I think the Wizards are going to be the worst team in the NBA this year, Fiddle. But what I always say is bad teams don't really know that they're bad early in the season. You know what I mean? I believe is Sar back. Have you seen anything about him? I know he got injured. He sat out one of those last preseason games. They definitely would need him if they would want to come even close to sniff the point spread here. But I think I'm going to have a rule this year, Fiddle. There's not going to be many games that I go official where I'm against the Celtics, to be perfectly honest with you, my brother. The way that they shoot threes, once they get hot, that's it. The Wizards don't really play a lot of defense as well. What do you think? Do you think this number is too big on the road, or is it, or the Celtics smoke them by 20 points easily here?
Yeah, I don't think it's too big. I want to find what the best available number is on the game right now. 13.5 still available at BetMGM. I played the 13 myself, Jay. I also played a small over. We've seen the total become really flat in this game, but listen, you have 13 or 14 point road favorites for the Celtics in game 2 of the regular season. Like, that's fucking wild to me. The first thing that I did when I saw that, Jay, was go, if they're going to be a 13-point road favorite, what would the price be realistically if it was in Boston? And what could it get up to if it possibly, like, where could this possibly fairly be priced? Based on the numbers, if they're 14 on the road, should be minus 19 at home. So the first thing I did was go over to the schedule. I looked up when the Wizards play in Boston, and I wanted to set a calendar reminder to bet Boston against the spread if it was going to come out at like 16.5 in the future in this game, because they weren't going to value home court. That's not till April 6th, so we can't really use that in the future, the first time the Wizards go to Boston. But in this particular game, Jay, I played the Celtics minus 13 and a small over position. It's going to be tough for the Wizards to keep up. I also think like Peyton Pritchard props in threes or Kispert the other direction. Like, Celtics force their opponent to shoot a lot of threes. So if we're going to get priced out of taking Celtics props, then why don't we look the other direction and say, well, they're going to force the Wizards to shoot threes, so take a fairly priced Wizards prop on a 3-point line.
Facts. Yeah, that makes perfect sense as well. I worry a little bit. I'm not betting against the Celtics. I do worry a little bit about this being somewhat of a flat spot after opening night, getting the rings, just being somewhat a little bit of an exhale spot. Like I say, I'm not there's not gonna be many games this season I'll be betting against the Celtics. There's not many games that I'll be betting on the Wizards as well. But I can't say, just like we take the names off the jersey, just looking at the spot wise, which sometimes can get you in trouble as a bettor, just looking at the spot. The spot would say Wizards, but I can't go anywhere near the Wizards, man. Like, this team is not good. I don't think that that new coach is really going to have them buying into anything. And this is something you will hear me saying all season. They have two players on the team. They're two main players that can easily check out and kind of just go and play, just kind of like just throwing shit up, man, just playing like a rec style type of basketball. That's Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma. They've gotten paid their money. They're on a bad team. There's no real substance over there where it's like, all right, guys, we need to come to play. Like, they're not real leaders over there, man. Jordan Poole going out on the limb and says he doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. Like, bro, you're on the Wizards here. What are you saying? You have all to prove. And even though you got a big contract, wouldn't you want to try to get another big contract? You have everything to prove. That was the most complacent comment that I've ever heard from a guy that's on the worst team in the NBA, saying I don't have anything to prove. So that already scares me before the season even started. But I do somewhat worry about a Celtics exhale spot. But if I'm playing this game, I'm only looking towards the Celtics side. It was at 13 yesterday. It's up to 14, and the line is only going to grow as well. There's not many people that's going to be betting the Washington Wizards in this game. It does look like Sarr will be playing this game. He did not look good. I went and saw him in Fiddle. We went and watched him in Summer League. He didn't look well. He didn't look that good in the preseason as well, man. So about the only thing that I've seen from him is really defending the rim, defending the paint. He's had a few nice block shots, but the shot has to get fixed. I do not want to see this guy shooting threes. Like, come on, man. Please don't be Anthony Bennett type of guy. Please don't be that type of bust, please, because that would be horrible for the NBA. Fiddle, but you saying you like the over here. Obviously, the Celtics, what they do, this fits well. What do you possibly think about a Celtics team total over in this game?
Yeah, I think I generally avoid team totals, Jay, unless I'm taking the dog on that side, because you're paying a premium, right? You're paying for 10 points north of the team total in terms of if you half of it, and then you're going to have to add 10 simply because the spread difference, right? So you're going to pay a premium on the Celtics side, and I think they're going to force the Wizards to shoot too. So I would be looking, I would think Kuzma and Poole and like they're gross chuckers, but it's actually a good game for them to kind of hit some overs.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, because I mean, and it could be a blowout as well. That's what you were saying. Going back to that Kispert prop, if it's a blowout, Kispert's going to get a lot of burn here. He just got a new contract as well, so I'm pretty sure that he has something to show in this one. And also, like you said, Peyton Pritchard on the other side. That's how we have to look at this game. If it's a blowout, you're going to see a lot of bench. You're going to see more Tillman, more Sam Hauser, Pritchard as well after the big guys go out, man. So really, really great game to watch, man. Can't wait to watch this game. Hopefully, the Celtics bomb away. I can't trust the Wizards with my hard-earned money, even as a 14-point home underdog. But I can. The spot sets up well for them, but this would have to be any other team. Like, this was the Pistons or the Hornets or something getting double digits, I'd be on them in this exhale type of spot. But as we saw last night with the Blazers, if you're a bad team, it just doesn't matter. Things can just, especially with the turnovers and the other team getting out in transition, things can get ugly really quick as well. So my guy Carlos, like in the chat, likes Wizards team total under. Morrows likes Celtics in the first half. I saw a few guys saying that they like Celtics in the first half to get this one started off. Started off quick as well. And someone says that this is also Jaylen Brown's birthday as well, so maybe he wants to go off. And Fiddle, you don't really do a lot of props, do you? I know that Tatum, he seems kind of like he was trying to go for MVP this season. Did you see Tatum in that first game? Wasn't bullshitting around.
I mean, if I was shooting like that on first night, I'd look like I was going for MVP too, because everything was falling for that man. Like, it looked like working out with Drew was the perfect thing. Jaylen Brown's prop, Jay, was over 2.5 at plus money. Yeah. So if there is any fair Celtics 3-point prop, I actually thought it was the Jaylen Brown line, because I mean, you want to pair it on his birthday off of a game where Tatum looked like the man. I think that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. That's just a narrative that you could take with you for like literally the rest of your life. These guys on their birthday, unless they've went to a big city and they've been there for a couple of days, like LA or Miami or Atlanta, if they're not in the big city, like they probably, I mean, it's
Houston,
probably
wait,
stuff.
we got to throw
Yeah,
Houston in there
Houston,
too.
that's a fact. Definitely. I mean, you could probably even throw Dallas in there, but I'll go out on a limb and say Washington, D.C., they're probably not going out and partying and shit. But if they were in Miami, they might would have lived it up last night. But a guy on his birthday, they want to ball out. Like, that's your day. You feel even a little extra lucky as well, man. So
whole team knows it. Coach knows it.
Yep. Tatum switched his mechanics. The shot is looking a lot more cleaner. We know what happened on Team USA. So let's watch out for Tatum this year because he looks like he could be a man on a mission. And also they pissed off Jaylen Brown as well, not even putting him on Team USA. So Tatum got on the team but didn't play, and then Brown is just pissed because y'all don't even want to put me on there, the whole Nike deal. So there's something to watch out for, and they're definitely like Batman and Robin. The roles can flip, so maybe it could be Jaylen Brown's night tonight over there in DC on his birthday in that particular game, man. But let's go over here to the streets of Dallas in this one. Fiddle. Mavs laying 8.5 points at the house versus the Spurs in this one. How are you looking at this game, my brother?
I think it's a clear under spot. Like clear under spot. Opening line was 233.5. That's what I played back on October 9th. We now see it down to 229. That's fucking beautiful. This is a situation where I think the Mavericks play a much different style of basketball than they were doing for the bulk of last season. Right now they have 2 rim running and rim protecting centers that are going to play 48 minutes. Like, it doesn't matter if there's foul trouble. They're not going to bring in Maxi Kleber and space the floor. What they're going to do is bring in Daniel Gafford and have another guy setting screens and protecting the rim. So both from a defensive sense and from a half court, the way you're going to set in your offense, I think this is a clear Mavs under spot. And then the Spurs on the other end, like Wemby under 4.5 assists is a good look in Chris Paul's first game. I think he's going to be more of the screener and the roller than the initiator in this offense. He did a lot of playmaking responsibilities towards the end of last year. He was averaging 5.5 assists. That's not on his plate as much this year when you have Chris Paul and Trey Jones on the team. So I think this is another clear under spot. I'd still play it at 229. I feel totally confident in that.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't talk you off there. It makes a ton of sense as well. And we know that Luka may not necessarily be at his best, at least for this first game, in my opinion. First off, you have the Suns on Saturday as well, a little bit bigger game. It's not that you're going to look past the Spurs, but this team has absolutely owned the Spurs here as well. They won all 4 meetings last year. They've won, I believe, 9 of the last 10 as well, man. So they've been absolutely owning the Spurs. They've owned this matchup, in my opinion. But with Luka not playing the first, he hasn't played any preseason. You know what I'm saying? So they've lost. Yeah, he's going to be pretty rusty, even if he might be in better shape. He's not going to have that game speed win. There's not really a lot that you can do to duplicate playing in an actual NBA game. So this is going to be somewhat like a preseason game for Luka, in my opinion. Here, like I say, you have the quadruple revenge spot with the Spurs, lost all 4 meetings last year. You look at the Spurs, they actually closed off the season on a very high note. They closed the season covering 8 of their last 10 games. So 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games as well. And like I say, if Luka's not at his best or in total form, or where he's going crazy for 35, 40 point triple-double, because he still possibly get a triple-double, but I'm saying like hitting all those step-back threes, that's their key to blowing the Spurs out in this one. I think the Spurs have a little bit new energy over there with guys like Chris Paul. With even though Harrison Barnes is pretty old, he still brings some veteran leadership to a really young team. And then also, if you look at the bench as well, these guys have guys that used to start for them that's coming off the bench. So the Spurs got a little bit more improved. I just feel like the 8.5 is a little too many points in this particular game, where the Spurs might be able to keep this game close. Game could go down to the wire. Maybe the Mavs get like a 4 or 5 point win in this one. I'm taking the Spurs in this game, plus the points in this one. And like I said, a lot of it has to do with even the new guys for the Mavs not necessarily getting a lot of time, time to get used to playing with Luka out there, man. So they got Klay Thompson. Apparently, the Mavs are going to win a championship this year because they got Klay Thompson. So what do you think about that, Fiddle? You think Klay Thompson's going to take the Mavs to the next level, or you think he's a little bit past his prime?
We were just talking about the Washington Wizards. I think it's going to look like Paul Pierce on the Wizards.
Hey, Pierce took them to the playoffs though, Fiddle.
He had some games where he could. It's like you're, he'll show up once every week or 10 days, but to count on it every game, not going to happen with Klay. Definitely think it's going to take some time to integrate. I think your play on Spurs against the spread lines up nicely with my under because large underdogs and total unders are super correlated.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, no, I need the Spurs plus the 8.5 in this one, man. And it's gonna have to be Luka and Kyrie because if I see Spencer Dinwiddie coming off the bench, like no Luka, no Irving in the game, and Spencer Dinwiddie is running the point guard. That's a problem for me, in my opinion. Maybe even Jaden Hardy can run the backup point guard, but I don't want to like Spencer Dinwiddie. Like, what are we doing here, man? But I like the picks up. I like the pickups of Quinn Grimes, Najee Marshall, but they have some new guys over here that they have to implement into the system. So I can see the Mavs getting off to a little bit of a slow start this season, and it could just be one of those things to where they made it all the way to the championship and then kind of like a depressed summer. You know what I mean? We did all that shit and then lost in the championship. Could be a little bit depressed and take you a little bit while to get back into the gym where you even want to play basketball. You know what I mean? So we have to remember these guys are human beings. They're not robots, man. It takes them a little bit of time. And Fiddle, they know what it takes to get there as well. You don't necessarily need to come out playing balls to the wall in the first few games of the season when you're trying to make a really deep run to the championships. An 82-game season, that's just a regular season. Shit, if you want to get deep into the playoffs, you're playing another extra couple of months there, man. So I'm on the Spurs here, official, plus the 8.5. It's what, plus 8, plus 8.5. I don't give a damn. It's the same shit. Yeah, 8.5. Give me the Spurs here, plus the 8.5. This also the play that I'm on from the Buckets pod as well, Fiddle. So give me the Spurs in this one. Need Wemby and CP3 that need that pick and roll to feed families tonight, or at least my family, you know what I mean, or whoever arrived with me in this one. But give me the Spurs, baby. I need the fucking Spurs in this one. Fiddle, let's go over here to the streets of Denver, my streets, down the street. I could go to this game if I want to, man. I always see some pretty good ticket prices on Game Time app, Fiddle. But what do you think about this game? Nuggets land 2 at the house versus the Thunder in this one.
This one's like the biggest red flag. Stay away from me. We've seen market wise some action on the Thunder coming down from 2.5 to 2s. The plus 120s are getting scooped up on their money lines. Now the best thing you can find on OKC side is a plus 110. You're also seeing the total move to the over. So started at 225 or 225.5. We're at 227.5 right now. I think those things are super related. Like the over movement has to be in sentiment with OKC having a strong night, because I'm very concerned about Denver's kind of offensive performance to start the season. I think they lost a lot of shooting in KCP, and then even bringing in Christian Brown off the bench makes your starting lineup have worse shooting. It also makes your bench have worse shooting because now Russell Westbrook's in that like lead guard of the bench unit. So I just don't love what the Nuggets did this offseason. I think it's going to bring down their reduction in scoring, but do you want to play a road dog at Denver in night one because where they're so stable? No. Do you want to play an over on a team that's taking a lot less threes and we're all ripping our hair out of it? No. So like biggest red flag, and just stay the fuck away from me. Am I allowed to curse here? Sorry about that.
Bro, you can say whatever the hell you want. This is why I like doing my show, and I didn't want to sell. There's a lot of people that's hit me up trying to buy my YouTube channel, and I said, no. I can say whatever the hell I want on here. Riffs. I can say we can say whatever the fuck we want on here, my guys. So there's no limitations on this show. And that's why we fucking love it so much. But hopefully you guys don't have the kids out there watching. But yes, you can say whatever you want
with their kids right now.
Yeah, shout out to the kids, man. We're gonna have them right as well when they get older. But Nuggets money line for me, man. And this is a spot that I really like for them. First off, there's a lot of factors here why I like the Nuggets. Now, you made a good point. Now, first off, I think that KCP, he wasn't playing like really well for the Nuggets last year as well. So I don't think it's a huge loss. Now, bringing in Brown helps them defensively though, because you probably need him to put on SGA, in my opinion as well. First off, my guy sent me a really nice prop in this game. He likes Jamal Murray under 21.5 points. My guy Prop Bum used to work for Action Network. He sent me this like 2 days ago. So that number might not be there anymore, but he did really like Jamal Murray under his 21.5 points. We have a little something going on though, because SGA kind of called out Jamal Murray, was saying that was the reason why Canada didn't get to like the semifinals or something like that. He was saying, man, it's Jamal Murray was the one, he stunk it up. That's the reason why we didn't win. You know what I'm saying? So you might have a little bit extra motivated Jamal Murray here going up against SGA, but it's not even that, man. So there's a lot of things here. You have a little bit more continuity with the Nuggets here. All 5 starters were on the team last year, whereas the Thunder are probably throwing Caruso in there as well. Just not necessarily, obviously it's only one player, but still there's not necessarily the same continuity, whereas the Nuggets are used to playing. They're obviously better at the house as well. I think that the Nuggets bench got a little better as well. They added Saric over there. They're going to have Peyton Watson coming off the bench. Westbrook is obviously a hit or miss type of guy, but he can bring the energy as well. Strother looked really good in preseason as well. And then you still even have Zeke Naji or DeAndre Jordan as well. So the Nuggets are a little bit more deeper this year as well. They've lost their last 3 matchups for OKC. What did they do in the first game of the season last year? They smoked OKC in OKC by 30-some points. Then the Thunder went on to win the next 3 games. I think the Nuggets remember that. And they lost both matchups versus the Thunder at home last year as well. One of those was a game winner by SGA. The Jokic remembers all of this shit. The last point for me, altitude is a major advantage in the early season as well. The Grizzlies almost lost that game last night. Why? They were the second half of that game. It's written that altitude really starts to get to you. Remember, early season, these guys are not in total game shape. It's going to take 10 to 15 games to get in game shape. I play basketball. You can come off from a week or 2 or a week or even a few days. It's not the same as when you're playing every single day as well. Last point. Hardenstein, big loss for OKC in this particular spot, going up against Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic, and even throw Michael Porter Jr. in there as well. Now your only size is really Chet Holmgren out there. You see what I'm saying? This would have been a spot where Hardenstein, I feel like they got him to match up well with the Nuggets as well. Without his loss, you don't have like that big at the top of the key that could do the dribble handoffs, setting the picks, the defending the paint, rebounding, all that. Hardenstein is a huge loss for this particular game. I'm on the Nuggets here on the money line, and I didn't even want to say anything to anybody until this game because I see all the money on OKC, and let's keep it that way. Let's keep it that way all the way to the bring that line down even more, please. And I like the Nuggets on the money line in this particular spot, man. I actually love them quite a bit. And at the house here, Fiddle, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I think you broke that down completely well. I love the plug of noting that Utah had the elevation too. Like Utah's sucked the last few years, and so we don't give them a lot of credit. Probably the second strongest home court advantage, just in terms of like how you have to factor that with travel situations and stuff. Yep. So I agree with this. I love to mention that early season altitude matters more because that's when you're fatigued. That's when you don't have the legs. That's when you get sore. That's when builds up that lactic acid in your muscles and it's less likely to leave your body. There's actually biologic science behind why that happens. Moving forward, if you ever see a team go from Utah to Denver or from Denver to Utah in a back-to-back, like not necessarily the same night, but 2 games in a row, if their road trip pairs Denver and Utah, I don't care what order it is, you wait for the second game, you wait for that line to open, and you fade that team that's going to be on the road for the second night in altitude every single time. I also highly recommend watching the post-game press conference after the first game, because say it's, mid-December, mid-February, and this is, the Bulls team situation going from Utah and then they're going to Denver. You're going to get Billy Donovan going, we'll see if we play Zach LaVine next game. Like, we'll see. Like, the classic rest spot that you find out at the last minute also happens in these altitude changes. So this is a huge value add to know at the beginning of the season to remember throughout.
Yeah, I always put my people on game with that as well. They already know that Utah, and sometimes they'll have a back-to-back as well, Denver to Utah. That's like one of the worst. That's one of the main phase spots that we have here as well. But Fiddle, they are starting to build that shit into the line after getting, how the books are, after getting smoked on it for so long.
We knew
they definitely tried to. But I'm still on that, and it still should cash at a high rate because guys definitely might sit, and it's not even that. You kind of really just run out of gas in that fourth quarter, man. So I live here in Denver. I don't think that the altitude is too bad, but when you're used to playing somewhere else, it really does start to take a toll on you, and it takes a little while to get used to it as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Nuggets came out here in first quarter and tried to stomp on the Thunder. Now I know what people are thinking. This is a young team, but like just remember, man, this team was the number 1 seed last year. They have the target on their back now in the Western Conference. So as the season goes on, the Thunder will probably, you know what I'm saying, they might even potentially be better than the Nuggets. But for this game, first game at the house, I think Jokic, Gordon, and the boys, I think they have some success here. And Jalen Williams, he's going to play. He's coming off a bad ankle as well. Didn't get to play the last few preseason games as well. There's a lot of factors that are working well for the Nuggets. I see everyone hopping on OKC, and I just feel like this is a Nugget spot for me through and through. And I love that everybody's bringing this line down for me. So thank you to the general public out there. Thunder are a great team. I just feel like in this particular spot, first game of the season, and altitude, Nuggets come out firing in this first game here, Fiddle. Last game up. Let's go over to the streets of Sacktown in this one. Sacramento Kings getting the point here at the house versus the Wolves. We faded the Wolves correctly in game 1 versus the Lakers. The Kings, not necessarily really sure what to make of them here, Fiddle. They did add DeMar DeRozan over there. They did go over defeated in the preseason. They did not win a single game, over 5 in the preseason over there. What do you think about this guy? I do think that DeRozan makes them better, but do you think it's going to take a little time for them to get acclimated to their new superstar?
Yes, I do think so. I think going 0-4 in the preseason is a really, really bad sign. We've seen that happen with teams in the past where they don't win a single game in the preseason. They're way more likely to go under on their win total and start off the season with a few losses. So I'm concerned for the Kings side. We've also seen this number. It's at 221.5 right now in the total. Jay, it was 227.5 last night. So like 6 points of movement towards the under in the last 8 to 10 hours. Like I almost want to say, I don't know why that's happened. Like, is somebody going to be out tonight? Like I've been looking on the reports while you've been talking, because seeing 6 points happen so quickly, right? And seeing, the spread now favor the Timberwolves when it's been Sack -1. Now it's Timberwolves -1. Like, is DeRozan? I thought there was some personal things that DeRozan was dealing with. Like, is suddenly DeRozan not going to play, and we're going to find out in an hour that he's not at shoot around? Like, this is from a line movement thing, from a gambling thing, from knowing what these numbers have been. There's information we don't know right now for sure.
Yeah, that's a fact, because so I did the podcast last night with actually me and Sean, and if I'm not mistaken, he was on over 226 in this game.
I'm going to send him up 20 texts because I'm on the line under 227.5.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm with you. The totals went all the way down. Maybe they're looking at how bad the Wolves offense looked versus the Lakers, because obviously they look super stagnant. Yeah. I don't think anybody's out. I don't think anybody's I hadn't heard anything about. I mean, I hadn't been on my phone.
Nothing reported yet. For sure. Yeah, I was just checking. There's nothing reported.
I don't think DeRozan had anything. I think that was like DeJounte Murray that was dealing with some personal stuff. I don't think DeRozan has anything going. Like, he's been playing in the preseason, all this stuff. But I mean, I feel like a lot of money is coming in on the Wolves. That's what's pushing it over. I mean, it's starting to go down to the pick at some of the sharper books. But I agree. Yeah, was that Kings -1? But I mean, I do think that the Wolves are the better team. I just don't know. This is still early season. People have to understand it. What you might see in a team early season, it may not be who they are. We saw the Jazz open up last season. I believe they started like 10-2 or something, like something crazy. Some bad teams don't know that they're bad yet. And then once they start realizing they suck, that's what's like, all right, I'd rather go and party the night before the game than to be messing around with these guys. And also some good teams, they're going to take it easy beginning of the season, because they know you're not going to win a championship in the first week of the season or the first month of the season. Sometimes teams like to ease their way into, and then they really get in the groove. It's like, all right, come on, let's go. So I'm waiting on the Wolves. I'm waiting on them to get used to playing with Julius Randle. Like, the ball we've seen last year, the ball can stick with Anthony Edwards. Then now you add Julius Randle into the mix. They're still shocked that they don't have Karl-Anthony Towns over there. Remember, this guy was on that team forever, like ever since he got drafted. So it's going to take a little bit of adjustment period to them to get used to playing with Julius Randle. They have the size advantage with Naz Reid, with Gobert as well. We know that Sabonis is not necessarily the greatest rim protector, but I don't know, man. What the stuff I was reading, Fiddle, was that the Kings were they weren't trying to show things in the preseason. That's why they just offense looked horrible. That's sort of like, well, we can't show everything in the preseason, but like, damn, you couldn't win one game, bro. Like you're playing your starters and shit. But apparently they were going vanilla, like it's football or something in the preseason. This is basketball, bro. Like this is like, what are we doing?
This is a classic excuse. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what life example I could come up with to be like, I just was trying to hide what I really was doing. Right? Like I was trying to sort this puzzle, but I knew the puzzle to answer the whole time. I was just trying to fake it for a while. Yeah, no, this isn't like playing a game against your kid and letting them win in one-on-one. It's preseason basketball. You still try and execute what like your main sets and rotations are. You're trying out, like maybe the shots weren't falling, but no, to go 0-4 to have such a bad preseason is not a good sign. Hovering around the ones though, Jay, 1 is the 13th most common outcome in the NBA. So I don't really love betting directionally around the ones if I'm so focused on where the lines are moving and where it's going to end up. It's just like, I'm like, I'll just do something else than spend my time trying to handicap a +/-1.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. If I had a best bet on this game, I would take Malik Monk over his points. If you guys don't know, Malik Monk should be starting for the Kings. Well, probably not now with DeRozan. He comes off the bench for a reason. He's a microwave type of player off the bench. This is why he's usually the 6th man of the year, like leading candidate. They bring him off the bench to be that instant scorer as well. So look for my best bet for this game would be Malik Monk over 11.5, over 12.5 points. And you could possibly look at his threes as well. If his threes is anything less than 2.5, I'd look towards Malik Monk. That would be my best play for this game here, Fiddle. But I have a third show that I have to do in a row, Fiddle. So we got to get out of here. Recap us with your best bets, my brother, and let's get this money.
I think the best one on the board is that Spurs Mavericks under 229.
Okay, I like it. And you also like that number moved already from what you got it at. So yeah, we won't even you did get that
in terms of what's currently available and what I would still play. If I had no bets myself, I would go bet one thing: Spurs Mavericks under. There's a 229.5 at BetMGM.
Got you. Like it. I like it, man. And we like BetMGM too, because this one of the books that takes forever to limit you. I like BetMGM. I did get limited, but it took a while.
Wait. I was in Vegas last week.
Yeah.
You stay at the MGM Grand when you go to Vegas, because if you're going to be somewhere else and betting with these sites, right? Like, go stay at the hotels that you use of their websites. Reach out to customer service and let them know, hey, I'm coming, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
If you're going with friends and family, try and set up a dinner in their restaurant casino and let them know you're going to be spending an evening there.
Yeah.
Your account is way less likely to have problems and issues if they know you're also staying at their hotel when you come to town and go to their restaurants. And relationships matter a lot in this space.
Yeah, Caesars and MGM always take care of me. That's a fact. So
yeah,
that's a fact, man. But let's get out of here. 2 plays for me, man. Spurs +8.5, Nuggets on the money line. If you don't like them, you don't have to play them. I'm definitely not here to tell you that these are absolute locks or that really that even you have to bet it. I'm letting you know what I'm on. If you choose to ride, hey, let's cash. If you're on the other side, hey. I would say good luck, but I'm trying to win my money. You feel what I'm saying? So it's all love, man. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm trying to go 2-0 one time for the one time. Go download the Action Network app, man. It's all free. There's a ton of podcasts, write-ups, all time. Me and Phil on there doing podcasts, man. So it's a lot of great info over there. Whether you like write-ups, podcasts, just checking experts picks, money percentages, projections, whatever. Action Network app is the absolute one-stop shop. Go download that shit right now. Go follow Fiddle on Twitter. He has his own show as well at Fiddle's Picks. This guy's a really knowledgeable handicapper, guys. So remember, we're sitting at the house. We do this all day. We have a lot of thoughts and info to give you guys through this space, man. So go follow him right now on Twitter at Fiddle's Picks. It's all love. Hopefully he'll be coming on one day a week all year, man. But we're trying to get this cash.
Mondays.
Mondays. Let's do it. Let's do it. Come on, let's get this cash, baby. Let's go collectively 3-0 one time for the one time, man. It's all love. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hit the like button right now. Subscribe to the channel. Share the show to your friends and family, and let's get this cash, baby. We out. Y'all have a good day.